Hello everyone, I am Brooke with Mrs. Cog Hill Farm, the wife of Jason at Cog Hill Farm. I've been kind of doing, I guess you'd call it a series, on our Victoria crowned pigeons that we have. We have a pair of these birds in an aviary here on our farm that were gifted to our daughter Marycarl by a wonderful lady named Miss Chris in Texas, and I've been trying to keep you guys up to date with what's going on, because if you haven't been following, this pair is building a nest, and it's not like any nest I've ever, sorry about the turkeys, but it's not like any nest I've ever witnessed being built. It's a very different, special nest. And one of the things that makes it so interesting is that we have had to gather all the materials for the nest. The reason being, they are in an aviary, which is enclosed. The birds can fly, and they do fly. And if the area that they're in was not enclosed, they would in turn fly away or fly to somewhere where they did not need to be and a predator could get them. When they initially started the nest build, it was, of course, rather small, because that was what they had to work with. So as soon as we figured out that was not the extent of the size of the nest they wanted, we in turn went and gathered more of the materials that they seemed to like the best. We've continued to add those materials because, like I said earlier, they have no access to the outdoor world to go and gather these materials on their own. In the wild, they are ground-dwelling birds, and they're not the type of bird that's going to go and pull a leaf off of a tree. They're going to use the material that's available on the ground, that is loose, that is large, and that they can easily handle to build a nest with. So we have used everything from pine trees, limbs, pine needles, pine straw. We then turn to more cedar type material that we have growing here on our farm. We would clip off small branches, distribute those over the floor. We saw that they liked that material as well. So we gathered an abundance of that over the period of several days. They seem to be at a stopping point with the nest build, and we did not know if that was because the materials that we were giving them they didn't want to use anymore, or if the egg was about to be laid, because there was a small indention, and you guys laughed at me because it's kind of funny that I called the egg swell. I've been told since there's a proper term for that. I don't remember what it was, but so we thought maybe they've stopped. I thought I walked away from the turkeys, and here they are. We thought maybe they've stopped building because they would like to line where the egg will go with some softer materials. We then went and gathered ferns that were native to our farm and cut those off, as well as some more cedar. We put some feathers in their area and just wanted to see if that may be what was going on. Maybe they wanted something soft to line where the egg will lay. So that was my last video when I added those materials. Those materials have been pretty much depleted. Since that video, Jason's grandfather's house was destroyed by a tornado. That happened last Thursday. So our time here on the farm has been not abundant. I have been able to watch the birds on camera. Of course, I go and take care of them and feed them and water them and make sure there's not an egg that's been laid, which it hasn't. And during our spare time here, I have gathered some different material. This time I decided that I would get some oak leaves from a live oak tree. The oak leaves are green year-round. And so I clipped some branches as well as a little bit more cedar and some more fern, put it in there, and that disappeared. So I've got to take y'all in here and show you. I don't even know the term for it now, because it used to be that I would call it a massive nest. So I've brought my little tape measure with me so I can show you guys just how big this nest is. I can show you what's left on the aviary floor. And we've got a big happening that's on video. And that was something that we have never been able to witness. Marycarl was able to get some footage of him making the mating call and doing a little dance. We've never been able to catch that on camera. Marycarl says that he has started wing slapping her, which she's already told me a few days before she lays the egg. He's gonna start chasing her around nonstop, and what looks to us as being...
We think he started to do something called driving.
Okay, she says it's called driving.
And if you, like, it's pretty much where pigeons, the male will chase their mate to, encourage them to lay eggs, I guess.
It's where the male pigeon will chase their mate. And it's sort of like an encouragement to lay their egg. So we have witnessed that happen today. So big happening that we witnessed this. We're able to catch it on camera, I should say. I didn't personally witness it, Marycarl did, but nonetheless, you guys will get to see it too, and it's quite amazing. I heard the drumming from, I call it drumming. I heard it from inside the house. My immediate thought was, oh goodness, we're that much closer to an egg. Well, when I came out to make the video, Marycarl meets me and she says, Mama, I've got some amazing footage of the pigeons. So I'm gonna show that to you now. And then when that's over, I'm gonna take you inside the aviary and show you what the nest looks like. So I use a little different voice when I come in here, and that is it's legitimate because we have some very special birds inside here. That's the female that's sitting on the tree, and the way you can tell the male from the female is the female has an orange pinkish color band on her leg. The male is on the ground and he has more of a silver colored band. I do not want them to fly. If they do, it's okay. It's in their nature to move from point A to point B by flying. But my biggest fear is that if they fly and they're scared, they could get hurt. However, they are very used to me coming in. I just don't want to startle them. If she's on the nest, I always check the nest camera before I come in, because if I see that either of them is on the nest, I do not want to hinder any activity that may be taking place. So I'm going to start on this side of the floor and show you. There are a few ferns left, but it seems to me they've been more prone to want to use the material that's on the nest side. And I guess, you know, nature to want to be lazy, so the further you have to go to get the material to where you need it, the less energy you use. Okay, so you can see there's a good bit of cedar left on the ground. So, you know, that kind of gives me the impression that they may not be building the actual height and sides of the nest as much as they once were. There are feathers left. There is hay left. There are pine needles left. But what I don't see is the oak that I brought in. And let me see if I can't show you. Okay, so this, I'm not going to pull it out, but this right here is some of the live oak that they put, and there was a lot of that in here. So that tells me that down in this nest, it's intertwined and made the nest much larger. So here's where I'm going to use my tape measure. And I'm going to show you guys the size of the platform first. The platform is indeed 2 foot by 2 foot. Does that put anything into perspective about how big this nest is? But you can see it extends out about 9 inches from the side. So we've got 33 inches basically from here to here worth of nest. Okay, now here comes the part that I'm so fascinated with, and that is the height. The board is a 6-inch board. Y'all, this nest measures 20 inches tall, and that is on that side. So if I come over here and I come to the back and I hold it up, it's again 20 inches tall at the highest point. It does go down from there, but look at the inside of it. Look at the big indention. It's almost like, yeah, they had the area that the egg was going to be laid in proper last build, but it's almost like they have in turn decided that wasn't quite big enough, and they have filled that area in with material and made a completely new area where the egg will be laid. But they do have this side filled up, and I'm wondering if that's not where they're going to take turns sitting. The male sits as well as the female, and I'm wondering if one of them, when they're waiting their turn to sit, if they won't utilize this side so they don't get this messed up. But I'm going to tell y'all something. If there's been a light in the gloom that's happened over this past week, it has been watching the birds build their nests. I mean, it doesn't take away anything that happened, of course, but we've been under a tremendous amount of stress, as you can imagine. Everybody that was affected by the tornado had some form or fashion of stress that they wouldn't normally have. Being Jason's immediate family, of course, you know, that was our priority, was to take care of what needed to be done with getting Jason's granddaddy situated. But watching this nest build has been incredible, and I apologize for not having been able to live stream. We just haven't been here to where we could make that happen, because it does have to actively be turned on from a computer, and then when they quit building, it has to be turned off. But I do apologize for no live streaming. Hopefully we won't have to wait on too much more nest building. Hopefully from this point forward, it'll be watching her sit on the egg and him. But she just flew down, and there was she wasn't startled or anything. You didn't hear a bunch of commotion. A lot of people have asked, why has there not been any sound on the live stream? And that is because, except for the mating ritual that recently happened, there is no sound. They're very quiet birds. They don't make any sound. But I hope you guys enjoyed the little clip that we did catch where he's making his drumming sound, because that is something that we have experienced hearing from time to time, even inside the house. I would like to say that we have a new item that's been added to our website. That is www.coghillfarm.com. That piece of merchandise, I wish I had it. I've ordered mine. It'll be here as soon as the post office can get it here. But that is the beautiful birds, the Victoria Crown Pigeons, both the male and the female, are on a shirt. And the design, the drawing, the artwork was done by Marycarl, who in my opinion is a very talented 13-year-old artist. So we did transfer her artwork to a shirt, as well as there's some other items available. If you're not interested in a shirt, then maybe you might want an apron or a, I think there's some drink cups on there, mouse pads, there's all sorts of things, but check that out if that's something you may be interested in. We did have a lot of you guys asking if there would be merchandise available, so we're very pleased to say Marycarl drew the artwork for the Victoria Crown Pigeon t-shirt that's now available.